If you're looking for a super easy way to solo the brand new Encore Overture Exotic Mission to get the brand new exotic special ammo auto rifle, then you came to the right place. Step 1, how do you get into the mission in the first place? It's very simple. All you have to do is come to the helm, talk to Failsafe. That will give you your Act 3 Echoes questline, step 1 of which will be to complete the exotic mission. So you'll get to go ahead and rock and roll with that mission the second that you log in for Act 3. But before we get into the exotic mission and solo it, what loadout do you want to bring? I'm doing this on a hunter, and honestly, world is your oyster when it comes to this. The strategies are a lot more important than the weapons that you bring, but given that it is a Strand and Solar weapon surge this week, I would highly recommend a Strand special ammo kinetic weapon. You can either go with the Scatter Signal Fusion Rifle from Season of the Wish, with the crafted perks here on screen. This is my favorite option. If you don't have this or you don't feel like using it, alternatively, the Call Sidearm is going to be very, very solid as well. As far as your secondary energy weapon, a Solar SMG, Solar Hand Cannon, Solar Ad Clearing weapon is what you're going to be rocking and rolling with for this one. People told me I say rock and roll a lot in these videos. Is that actually true? Dude, give me a rock and roll counter in the comments for this video. But I love the Callus's mini tool here. You could go Zowli's Bane, really any Solar ad clearing weapon that you like to run, because Solar is, of course, going to get a 25% bonus for this mission. It's going to feel really rock solid. So, your third slot, your heavy slot, this is where I would recommend you bring 3 different weapons. The first of which is an Eager Edge Sword. This is not required, but there are a lot of traversal areas in this mission. It's going to, decrease your overall runtime by about 5 minutes. If you don't have one or you don't like using them, it's totally okay, but I would recommend bringing one. What I would strongly encourage you to bring is the Microcosm, if you have it. This is exceptional for the first boss fight. And then for the final boss fight, either Sleeper Simulant or Xenophage. I like Sleeper Simulant a little bit more than Xenophage, but it's up to you. If you prefer Xenophage, you can get by perfectly fine with it. As far as subclass setup, I'm starting with Prismatic Hunter, but the only reason I'm really starting with Prismatic Hunter is just because of the grapple grenade for the traversal areas. As we get into the mission and we start fighting the bosses, we're going to switch it up to something else. So don't worry too much about your fragments, your aspects. You can just screenshot this and copy it if you want to, but we're really just doing this for the grapple grenade. Similarly, you can throw on whatever exotic class item you want. We're going to end up using Celestial Nighthawk as we get into the boss phases of the fight, but I'll use Inmost Light Sword Arachne, so I have better grenade cooldown. It really doesn't matter. So for the pre-boss sections, really genuinely bring whatever you want. As far as mods go, highly recommend 1 Solar Weapon Surge, 1 Kinetic Weapon Surge, and 1 Kinetic Scavenger, a Concussive Dampener, Double Void Resistance, a Harmonic Loader, Harmonic Siphon, Heavy Ammo Finder, Special Ammo Finder, whatever energy regeneration gauntlets mods you want, and then the classic Reaper Powerful Attraction Bomber combo on your class item. With all of that set up, we're going to go ahead and hop on into the exotic mission, and I'm going to show y'all the easy way to beat it in about 20, maybe 25 minutes. It's pretty quick. So step 1, load right in. We're going to come to the right side, and this is why I love having the Eager Edge exotic sword. You really just blaze through this nice and quick. We're going to scale this right side ramp a little bit until we get enough height that we can come over to this ball and fall right down the hole. And we're just going to make our way. Our path is pretty linear after we fall down the hole in the ball. We're just going to keep on sprinting straight forward. Careful with this platform a little bit. You got a little wedge right there. We're going to hop on over here to the left, run on the side. And then if you look to the right side, you're going to see a little opening in the wall. You're going to fall right into that. And we're going to keep on rolling. Right here, you see this little red dot right there? That's where we're aiming. If you don't have an Eager Edge Sword, you can go for this section of the platform right there. But we're hanging out right here because we have this little elevator that we're going to wait to come down. Hop up on the elevator. Let the elevator take us up. Completely mess up the jump. And continue on our way. Once we get to this area, we're going to have some little platforms that'll go back and forth. Any moving platform kind of has this glowing rectangle on it. And then we're going to jump over here to this spire. We got another elevator section. Going to wait for it to come down. See, glowing rectangle. This takes a second. So you're just going to patiently let the elevators take you up. Walk forward into here. Careful with that moving wedge. We're going to wait for another elevator. Hop right on it. Make our way up. While we're going up this elevator, it's a perfect time to scroll down a little bit, hit the like button on the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Once we get up on that elevator, we're going to run down here. Slide. Keep running forward. Only one way you can go. Slide. Keep running forward. Only one way you can go. Making our way. Continue forward. Then we're going to get to this area. We're going to go to this glowing thing, I suppose. And you're going to see this, like, elevator rock thing. We're going to ride it up. Dead center. Then there's going to be another elevator rock. Ride it up. Then we're going to get to the red glowing light. You'll see this little square. Give it a kiss. You fall right down. Crouch. Keep going forward. Fall right down. Then you're going to move 90 degrees to your right. You're going to be tempted to go this way, because that's where you're looking. But right after that fall down, where I said we go 90 degrees to the right, you actually want to turn another 90 degrees to your right. You're going to see a purple background if you crouch. That is where you're actually going to go. So you're kind of pulling a 180 after that initial drop down. Look for the purple background. Then we're going to keep on going until we see this little green deposit thing. We're going to take a right. We're going to have some Cabal enemies. We're going to smoke them. And here's the first little mechanic section where you kind of learn stuff. In this area, what you learn is that we need to create platforms by depositing a buff into just kind of like, let's not die here. You're basically creating platforms by depositing a buff into the little table thing. And on those platforms that you create will be a conflux that you interact with. Rather simple. So you're going to start out, you're going to run over here. You should see 3 red diamonds on the wall and a little blinking input thing that you can put a buff into. If you turn around 180 degrees, you're going to see another one of those green things, but this one is solid, meaning that it has a buff that you can retrieve. This is the connection buff. So we're going to pick this up, and we're going to turn around 180 degrees again. We're going to dunk the buff into here, and that's going to create this platform right here for us, and it's going to spawn this conflux that we can interact with. And when we interact with the conflux, you see one of those diamonds turns white. So we need to get the other 2 diamonds to turn white now. So we're going to get our buff back. If you look at the top middle of your screen, you'll see Vex module connection. And then we're going to look to our left, and we're going to go all the way over here. And then we're going to deposit in here. You're going to see this wall right here is going to disappear. And what do we have in here? Another conflux. Interact with the conflux. Red diamond's going to turn white. Now we have 2 diamonds white. Look at that. We're going to come back here. We're going to get our buff back. And then we're going to wait for this platform to disappear. And we're just going to fall right on down. Going to have some enemies waiting for us. So we're just going to kill them real quick. And after we kill them, we're going to look on over. Check that out. Another green deposit box. Wonder what we should do with it. Perhaps install our green buff. And that is also going to open up this wall. Splendid. What could possibly be inside here, I wonder? Oh, weird. It's not another conflux. It's more buffs. We're going to kill this Minotaur. And he's going to drop for us the yellow buff. What does the yellow buff do? Instead of creating platforms like the green buff does, the yellow buff removes walls. So now we can get through there. And we're going to come back and we're going to retrieve our green buff. And that's going to make that Vex wall reappear because it's no longer inside of this platform. But it's okay because we deleted this wall by depositing that yellow buff right there. Probably a good time to note, you don't actually have to know. I'm trying to explain what the buffs do just so you kind of understand what's going on in the mission. But you don't really have to know what they do if you don't want to. If what I'm saying is confusing you right now, don't worry about it. Just kill the enemies I'm killing, put the buffs where I tell you to put them. It's the same configuration every time. You'll be good to go. So this is our final pillar. So now we have all 3 of those pillars up top are now white. We're going to grab our green buff before we head back up. And this is why I like going on the hunter, because we can just grapple grenade our way back up. All 3 of those diamonds are white now, so we're going to come back to the original first one that we dunked it into. Install that green buff. That's going to build our platform again, and it's going to open this door to the next section of the arena. That's where I love the eager-eyed sword. We're in this dark, spooky area. We're just going to make our way through. Kind of only one way you can go. Follow the red lights. Eager-eyed sword going to make it a little more quick. Keep on going, and we'll find another green buff. When we pick this one up... Uh-oh. What's the worst that could happen? Ah, it's chasing us. Time to run away. So this is why I love the grapple grenade, the eager-edged sword. Makes this section a lot easy. Now, there is what I believe to be a bug with this section. Might not be a bug, might be a bug. I don't know. All I know is that you're supposed to dunk this green buff that we have at the top of our screen into this repository. But if you do it too fast, you get wiped. So you want to wait until the red wall comes all the way over here and is stopped. Like it is right now. If you dunk it in here before that red wall gets to this position, it'll just give you a wipe screen for some reason. So now that I see that the wall's right there, I'm going to dunk it in here. That's going to create that platform and get rid of that wall. And now I'm going to take my old buff that I was using out of here, because I don't care about going in there anymore. There's a kill wall right there. And I can take my old buff all the way over here, back to the original dunk point that we saw when we first entered this area. Let's get a stylish executioner kill so we don't die. And then I can dunk it in here. That'll create a platform for us to cross the chasm, and we are done with that section. Easy peasy. We're going to keep on going, run out here, jump to the left. You're going to be able to kind of squeeze in between. And then we're going to hop out here. Big spire. Careful with the little push nodes. Then we have a couple launcher cannons. This area is pretty linear, so you can just kind of follow where it looks like you're supposed to go. Kind of only one way you can go with this area. Head up the elevator. Be patient. And then we're going to move on over here. We're going to run into a ton of enemies. And we're going to kill every single one of them. Our main concern, when you first get out here, is going to be these 2 sniper hobgoblins, because they hurt quite a bit. So I'm going to jump up here and kill them before I worry about anything else. I also saw a movie when I was a kid that emphasized the importance of high ground, so we're gonna hang out up here. Keep killing all the enemies, killing all the enemies. And eventually, we're gonna have a Minotaur spawn up here. And this is why I love the scatter signal here. The call also works wonders for this as well, but just completely one-shot him. Where'd he go? Somewhere. I genuinely don't know. Oh, there he is. Okay, to finish on him, once he dies, you're going to get the partition buff. So we're going to pick that up. We're going to hop back up here. Dunk it into this yellow area. That'll take away that wall. You can skip past all this. It's not a... I think that's just for, like, the seasonal currency or whatever it is. It's none of that is important for the actual exotic mission itself. We're going to take that elevator up. Be greeted by 2 hobgoblins. We're going to greet them back. And then we're going to end up across a new buff, a blue one called Access. Access simply turns on portals. So if we... that's where we'll deposit Access. If we... This is where we came up from. That's where the elevator spat us out. If we run over here, we go to the right side where we just killed the explosive fanatics. we'll be able to take this access buff, and when we deposit it into here, it'll open this portal to our left. So once again, you don't actually have to know what the buffs do. Just do things in the order that I do them in. Step 1, we're going to kill this Hydra. And then we're gonna kill all these enemies. And you're gonna notice that a blue access buff drops right here to spawn a portal. So we're gonna pick that up. And we are going to install it right here, where we killed the Hydra. And then we're gonna take this green buff and go through the portal that we just created. Now you're gonna be a little careful here, because if you go too fast, well, you're in trouble. And we're going to put the green buff right here to our right. That's going to create this area. And then we're going to double back. And we are going to take this buff right here that we just came out of. And we're going to run all the way over here. And we're going to deposit it into this portal. Then we're going to go into this portal. And this is going to take us back to the room where we originally discovered the access buff. So we're going to pick up this access buff. That's going to despawn that portal, because it's not in this node anymore, but it's okay, because if we turn around 180 degrees, we made this portal to get back into this room. So we're going to head through there, get back in the main area, and then we're going to take the access buff that we just took, and we're going to remake the portal where we just put the green buff. And then we're going to come back all the way over here to this portal. And we're going to take this blue buff. Go back to the portal where we put the green buff. And make this portal. And now we're done with that section. Little confusing. Like I said, rewatch it again if you need to. You don't actually have to know what each color buff does. Just do the same steps that I did in that same order. Here's the first boss fight. At this stage, I highly recommend switching to Solar Hunter. This is where you're going to want to be on Celestial Nighthawk. You can copy exactly what I have on screen right now. Main important parts here are going to be the Ember of Torches, the Ember of Empyrean, the Ember of Singeing, the Healing Grenade, the Golden Gun Marksman, and then on your mark, knock them down. Absolutely massive for survivability, because the idea is we can throw a healing grenade at our feet. That'll give us restoration. And then if we get solar weapon or ability final blows through the Ember of Empyrean, we'll extend the duration of that restoration. And so if we just keep clocking things with our solar energy weapon, permanent infinite restoration, infinite healing. Here, we're also going to swap to our Microcosm. If you do not have Microcosm, you can go Sleeper Simulant alternatively. This is why we originally walked in with a Kinetic Weapon Surge and a Kinetic Scavenger, is for this Microcosm. Here's the mod page again if you want to take another look. Here's the weapon spread. Here's the subclass spread. Now it's boss time. So we're going to drop a rally flag, get all our stuff, and we're going to start things up. We're going to start with this guy. If you've done any Dual Destiny, you probably know why we have Microcosm right now. He gets absolutely melted by it. Just like that, he's gone. Clean up the ads. We'll throw a healing grenade at our feet. Smoke these guys with the Callus's mini tool. And then we're going to pick up this blue access buff. Run over here to our right side, and we're going to create a portal. And this is where we're going to meet a Tormentor. Just like before, we're going to break his shoulders with the Microcosm. He takes a little bit more. There is a reason I'm not using my Nighthawk yet, by the way. Please refrain from using your Nighthawk at this stage. When he spawns the purple thing, just stay right here. Ah! You can probably, I've never tested, actually, it looks like you probably can't go through that portal. But all you have to do is get him to 2/3 HP, and he will disappear and leave a portal buff in his stead. I also want to note in this section, you notice this is not a darkness zone, so if you don't care about doing this flawlessly, if you do die in this boss fight, it doesn't matter. So it's not the end of the world. We're going to take that blue buff we got from the Tormentor, run down here, plug it in there, and we're going to head through this portal. And then we are going to be reacquainted with this fella. Microcosm will dispatch him rather quickly. Don't feel like you have to ignore all the ads and go and DPS him first. If you want to, you can just chuck your healing grenade, kill some of the trash mobs. And then once you kill some of the trash mobs, thin the pack out a little bit. Then you can go ahead and focus on the boss. So I'm just gonna kill a few more trash mobs. That healing grenade plus Ember of Empyrean plus the solar final blows, that's what's keeping me fully healed permanently. But yeah, Microcosm cuts through that guy like butter. So once you cut through him, get him to 1/3 HP, we're going to take the Vex module, the Access module. He's going to give us another portal buff. Plug it in. And then we'll meet the Tormentor again. Now, I like to zap this guy with Microcosm, get him about 50% HP. And then once he's 50%, get far, far away from him, cast the Goldie, wait for him to stand still. Okay, maybe get him a little below 50%. Maybe get him to like 40% HP. It's not the end of the world, but ideally you want that Nighthawk shot to kill him. Because you can kill him right here. If you don't kill him, like I didn't, it's not the end of the world. It just means once you pick up the blue buff that he leaves in his stead, he's supposed to phase out at 1/3 HP, but you know, if you do enough damage all in one go, you can insta-kill him. Not the end of the world. He's going to leave behind that blue portal buff. You're going to notice there's 2 portals already active in here. These are bait portals. Do not go through them. Going through that portal sends you out there. Going through there sends you out there. We're just ignoring those. We're instead going to come to the right side, plug in our portal buff. This will take us back to the original boss room. And now we have to fight the Tormentor and the Subjugator at the same time. So this is why I said get him 50% HP, more realistically 40% HP, because then it means you only have to fight the Subjugator out here, but it's not really that big of a deal. You got your Microcosm, you're going to be able to blast on the Tormentor. We're just popping back out here, playing in this main boss room. Microcosm. Cut through them like butter. So easy. Now at this stage, we're going to go back to our Eager Edge Sword. If you want to, you don't have to. It's just for easier traversal. And I'm going to go back to my Prismatic subclass so I have my Grapple Grenade again. Thankfully, we've got some heavy bricks that dropped. So we're just going to sprint on right through this portal. And once you teleport in this area, if you look at this wall, put your back to it, we're going to go like top right. There's this tiny little tube that we're going to crouch through. Keep on heading through. Now for this section, I forgot to switch to Prismatic, didn't I? Oh no, I did. Whoops, my bad. For this section, ow. We're literally just running past everything. There is only one enemy in this entire section that we actually have to kill. So we're just going to sprint on through. Grapple grenade. All that jazz. There should be an indicator that kind of tells you where to go, but just completely ignore that. Ignore the portal. Ignore the harpies. There's going to be some wyverns that spawn. You can ignore them. We're just going. You don't have to kill a single one of these enemies.
Sounds like Maya.
Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going. Using the Eager Edge Sword. And then once you get to this area, you're going to notice that there's a portal in the back right of the room. We have to kill that guy to be able to go into the portal. This is probably a situation where the call beats scatter signal. So I suppose I'll pull that back out. I mean, it's not really a huge deal either way. But the second you kill that guy, portal spawns. Head right on through. Another portal. Admire the architecture if you want. Once you get through this portal, you're going to run like right over here to the left of this desk, hold E. And that's going to trigger a bunch of dialogue prompts. You're going to be stuck here for maybe a minute and a half. Just got to listen to some stuff. You can admire all the stuff you want to. I'll leave that to you. But the next area you're going to go to is you're going to run back here, turn to the right, and there will be a portal that spawns right here. In the meantime, while they're talking, we're going to go back to Solar. We're going to use the exact same subclass loadout for the final boss that we used for the first boss. However, in terms of our loadout, instead of going with the Microcosm, we are 100% going with the Sleeper Simulant. Similarly, we're going to come over here to our mods now, and we're going to change that Kinetic Surge and Kinetic Scavenger, and we're going to go all in on Solar now. So Solar Scavenger, Solar Surge. My Solar Scavenger is 1 cost, by the way, because on my artifact, I'm rocking and rolling with the authorized mods, Scavenger. So yeah, this will be what we're rocking and rolling with. Gotta wait until they're done talking and whatnot. While they're continuing to talk, I could mention, you know, I've been streaming a lot of Destiny and Warframe recently, twitch.tv/Mactics. It's linked in the description. If you find this guide helpful and you want to stop by and support the stream, maybe drop a 100% free Twitch Prime sub if you'd like to. That'd be awesome. Or don't. Whatever you want to. Once we get here, we're going to place our rally flag, of course. Rally up, get our full ammo, and then we're going to waltz forward a touch. We're going to get a little bubble that spawns here with the Minotaur. We're going to pull out our scatter signal, or if you have the call on, that'll do as well. Get as much damage to him as we can. And then we'll cook all these trash mobs. He's going to teleport around a little bit, so you might have to do a little bit of searching for him. There he is. But the reason we want to kill this Minotaur is similar to previous Minotaurs in the mission. He will drop us a buff. We're going to pick up that buff, and we're going to come back to the starting area of the arena, and we're going to plug it in right here. And that is going to spawn this platform with a complex on it. We're then going to interact with the complex, circle back, and we're going to grab our buff back. And now we're going to pay attention to which side of the arena the boss is on. Left side or right side. Currently he's on the left side. We want to be on the same side of the arena that the boss is on. Since he's on left side, we're going to run over here to the left side where these goblins are. And we're not going to go all the way to that portal. We're just going to go right onto this platform. And we're going to go ahead and spawn this platform right here. Then we're going to kill a couple goblins. You're going to see a plate spawn. We're going to go ahead and capture the plates. Nice and easy. And we're going to kill all these goblins. It's pretty easy. Just take our time. Benny, are you in my live stream right now asking me if you can join to leech the loot while I'm recording a solo guide? Yeah, that's fine. But you can't shoot any bullets, okay? Because this is a solo guide. So you're not allowed to shoot any bullets. Benny Schmerda, everyone. World famous PvP content creator. He's asking if he can scam my loot. We'll let him leech the loot. I guess it's not really a solo guide anymore, is it? After you're done capturing the plate, you're going to notice all these enemies are gone. Disappeared, vanished. And you're going to notice the boss has this little triangle on him. And when you destroy the triangle, you're going to be allowed to do DPS to the boss. Now, before I start doing DPS to the boss, I kind of want to explain how the DPS phase works. I wish I could visually see his health bar right now, but I can't. But the way the DPS phase works is his health bar is segmented into 4 segments. So you have his initial 50% of his HP. Once you deal half damage to him, he's going to spawn a bunch of red walls that segment the arena that will prevent you from freely moving around the arena like we currently are. The problem is, if you get past that segment, but you run out of time on your DPS phase, it's a real pain to get to the next DPS phase because you have to do all the mechanics that we just did, but using the portals to ping pong around the arena. If, however, you get him past 50%, and then his additional health gate at 75% total HP, that enters him into sort of the final stand, where if you're in the final 25% of his HP bar, you don't have to do any more mechanics. You just get to continuously ping pong around the arena dealing DPS. So, we want to make sure that we deal at least 75% of his HP in this DPS phase. It is very crucial. So what we're going to do is we're going to break that crystal, and then we're going to run over here, sneak in a sleeper shot, never mind. He's going to teleport, we're going to chuck our knives at him to get radiant, and then we're just going to kind of strafe in and out of this wall right here. Blast him with the sleeper. Use your healing grenade as necessary. And then once we get him kind of close to 50% HP, that's when we pop the Nighthawk, blast him, and then keep going with the sleeper. You want to get him to that final 25% HP, past the A and Parados. Very important. Now you'll see he spawned these red walls when we got him to 50% HP. And if we had him in that 25% to 50% HP range, then we would have to do all the mechanics again that we just did to make him vulnerable, where we had to deposit the green buff, interact with the conflux, deposit the green buff somewhere else, capture the plate, all that jazz. We would have had to do that again with these red walls up, which would be a pain. But since we got him to his final 25% HP, it's basically final state. So, how did we get over to even start damaging him? Well, you'll notice we got these big minotaurs that spawned. And as I'm sure you guys have figured out by now, kill the minotaur, drops a buff. We're going to pick up the buff, deposit the buff. That opens this portal. Run through the portal. Now we're on the same side of the boss. Now we don't want to break the little crystal to start DPS phase yet, because we want to clear out all these ads so that they're not bugging us in the middle of the DPS phase. You can even, too, if you want to be very particular about it. Oh, I ran out of my restoration buff. That's a little problematic. Now we have it back. So I like killing all these ads, getting rid of all of them. You do have to be a little careful because the boss can still shoot at you, by the way. There's my buddy Benny over there. He's just hanging. But once we have all the ads cleared, we can continue into our final DPS phase, break the crystal, and then just pick a pillar, strafe in and out of it. Take your time as well. Be patient. Don't want to greed for damage or anything like that. And just like that, you've soloed, or rather, soloed, the brand new Encore exotic mission. Come and collect your loot. You can come out, Benny. It's okay. You don't have to hide anymore. And yeah, that's how you get the new exotic auto rifle. Was he there the whole time? What kind of solo guide is this? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe. As always, have a great day.